In today's episode, we will explain how praise can make or break your child's future, what mistakes parents make in praising kids, and what are the correct ways to praise kids. In this episode, we will learn how correct method of praise can determine how successful your child would be in his life. So let's start with the episode. Praise is a free and a very impactful tool for rewarding anyone around you, and everyone likes to be praised. If someone praises us, we feel good about ourselves and also about that person praising us. And we feel so good that we would want to repeat that behavior and we would do anything for that person. When kids are small, we appreciate their every little achievement. Like when they say their first word, they begin to sit, stand, when they take their first step. But we stop or become stingy in praising kids when they grow up. And when we do praise, we often use words like intelligent, smart, good, extraordinary, super smart, genius. With this, we put such a heavy burden of expectation on kids' shoulders. When you give such personal titles, it may help them in short term, but its long term effects are very bad. These titles make them risk averse as they want to protect these titles and stay engaged in smaller things so that they can be an achiever and protect their ego and titles. Now let's see how it impacts child psychology. See, when we tell our kids that they are smart or they are intelligent, then we are talking about some kind of ability that they had with their birth. It's not that he earned or developed that through his efforts in his life. Now let's take an example to understand this. Let's say your child does great in exam. Now you want to praise your child so that your child remains motivated and repeats that success. Intention is good, but we need to focus on the method of praising. Let me explain why. If you tell your kids that he's genius or he's intelligent or he's smart, he'll feel that he has some innate ability that is responsible for this success. Now you tell me, is it the reason why he is successful in his exam, or he worked hard? And that's the reason he got good grades. It's important to tell him the reason why he got good grades. And then only he would be able to replicate that success in future. So what you can say is that I'm happy that you got good grades. These good grades are reward for your hard work and persistence. You can also point out some specific instances when your child was struggling but he persisted. He kept working without giving up, which resulted into this success. So you can say that it's truly a reward for your hard work and you totally deserve this. Praising efforts would not just make your child happy momentarily, it would shape your child's behavior so that he understands that success in life comes through hard work and persistence and not through luck or through some superpower. Now let's take a look at a few more examples. Let's say your child solves a difficult puzzle. So instead of saying, "What a smart boy you are," you can say, "You kept on working on that puzzle until you figured it out." When for the first time your kid is able to button his shirt, then instead of saying, "Good job dressing up yourself," say, "You kept working on that button until you got it into the buttonhole." Now why we should praise efforts? Praising efforts leads to growth mindset. See, children fall in one of the two categories. Those with a fixed mindset who believe their success are a result of their innate talent. They believe that they are stuck with the intelligence they are born with. They see failure as their validation for their limited abilities, leading to feeling frustration, disappointment, and even embarrassment. They may be more likely to give up or avoid similar challenges in the future. On the contrary, growth mindset kids believe that their successes are a result of their hard work. They believe that intelligence can be cultivated. The more learning you do, the more smarter you become. These kids understand that even geniuses must work hard. They see failure as a learning experience rather than a sign of inadequacy. They analyze what went wrong and use knowledge to improve in the future. They focus on progress and growth rather than comparing themselves to others. This is the reason why growth mindset kids become successful and happy in life. So you should teach kids that brain is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And it's never too late to rewire the brain. Second method is very simple. In this method, you describe what you see or hear or notice. Let's take a few examples. Let's say your kid creates a good painting. So you say that you have made a beautiful painting and it's even better than Picasso. Do you think this kind of praise would help him create a similar good art in future? Maybe yes, maybe no. It all depends on his ability. However, if you say that, I see you picked up the right colors. All the lines look very sharp. And I see the placement of mountains is bang on. I see that you have given attention to details and also created shadows. This would help him understand the process of creating a good painting and would help him replicate that success. Now let's look at a few more examples. Let's say your elder kid helps the little one. So you can say that I saw you help your little brother tie his shoelace without being asked. This is a fantastic display of kindness and patience. Your kid cleans the room without even being asked. So you can say that you cleaned up your toys without being reminded. And everything is back in its place. I am impressed with your responsibility and organization skills. Kid double checks his answers before submitting the quiz. So you can say that I noticed that you double checked your answers on the science quiz, which led to a perfect score. Your attention to details is impressive. Let's say your child completes his handwriting lesson well. So instead of saying good handwriting, you can explain that he nicely connected all the dots and have kept most of the words within the line. This would help him understand what good handwriting means. The next method is easiest of all. In this, you don't have to do anything. You just need to ask the kid how he managed to pull that job nicely. Now, when he would explain everything to you in detail, he would be thinking about the process, how he was able to create that magic. Now, let's take a few examples. Let's say you do a great job on a project and your boss asks you, he would like to understand how you created that magic. So now when you're explaining to him everything in detail, you're thinking about the process. Also, it makes you happy to explain all the hard work that you did, all the effort that has gone towards bringing this project to this level. Now let's take another example. Your kid is able to finish his project early. So you can say that I noticed you are able to finish your project ahead of time. How did you manage your time so well to get it done early? Another example, you see that your kid is managing the situation well by sharing toys with his sister. So you can say that I'm so proud of your problem solving skills. You found a creative solution to share your toys with your sister. How did you come up with that idea? In the next example, your kid is able to handle a disagreement well. So you can say that I noticed you used I statement to express your feelings calmly. How did you learn to communicate so effectively? One thing you should always remember is resist the urge to praise by comparison. Comparison would make him think himself superior to others and would think less of others. And as a result, he would stop learning from others. And when we are doing this among siblings, we are actually giving rise to sibling rivalries and they begin to hate each other. Now let's take a look at how we should praise depending on the age of the child. So when kid is small, that is a toddler or a preschooler, you should be very expressive while praising kids. Like you should clap, say hooray, and try to show your excitement through your facial expressions. Because when kid is small, they are not in the reasoning stage. He takes the cues from our smile and from our expressions and determines if he has done something good. As the kid grows up, you should move less towards expression and more towards logic. Now let's talk about how you should correct your kids. The first thing is choose the right time and place. When kids make mistakes, we start preaching them then and there. At that time, they are hyperactive. Their mind is not in the condition to understand anything or to do logical thinking. So find a suitable moment when both you and child are calm and relaxed. Select a private and comfortable setting where the child feels safe and can focus on the conversation without distractions. The second thing is you should always maintain a loving and a supportive tone of voice. Ensure that your tone of voice and body language conveys love, support, and respect. You should remain calm and avoid becoming overly critical. Our aim is to help child learn the right thing and not to disrespect or insult him. Next thing you should remember is avoid personal criticism. That means avoid blaming kid for something, because when you criticize or blame the kid directly, his brain stops thinking and his fight and flight mode gets activated. He gets in the defensive mode and his entire focus is on avoiding blame. Now consider this example. When somebody is trying to slap you, what would you do? You would try to escape that. And that is exactly what happens with kids. So what you can do is, instead of using you, use I statements to convey your feelings. So instead of saying you are lazy, you never clean up your room, say, I noticed your room needs some tidying up. Let's work on cleaning it together. And I'll show you some helpful ways to organize your belongings. Another example is, you're always so careless. Look at the mess you made. Try saying, accidents happen. Let's clean up the spilled milk together, and next time can be more careful while pouring. Let's look at another example where instead of saying, you are such a bad listener, you never pay attention. Try saying, I have noticed you seem distracted sometimes when I'm talking to you. Let's find a quiet place to have our conversation without any distractions. If your child is bad at maths, don't say you are terrible at maths. You never get it. Try saying, maths can be challenging, but with practice and patience, we'll improve. Let's work on some math problems together. If your child is stubborn, never say you are being difficult and stubborn. Try saying, I understand you have your own opinions and preferences. Let's talk through the ideas and we can find a situation that works for both of us. Next is, you should avoid labeling kids. Never use words like you are mental, lazy, troublemaker, stupid, because if a child accepts any of these negative words, it would become his identity for his life. So you should explain what went wrong this time and what are the steps he can take so that next time he doesn't make the same mistake. Next point is, you should never criticize your kid by comparing. See, a child is born as a blank paper. His ability essentially depends on three things. The first thing is genes. Second is how happy the mother was during pregnancy. And the third thing is your upbringing. So for example, if your child is not doing good in studies, then either your genes are not good enough or child didn't get good care during pregnancy and that's why his neurons or his brain could not develop well, or you didn't teach him the right tools to study. So that's the reason you should never criticize a kid by comparing. Because if some other child is doing something good, that means his parents have done something good that you haven't. Also, when you compare and criticize, the child's self-worth goes down and he thinks himself inferior to others. The last thing you should remember is, if you have told your kid to do something, it's not that he would always remember it. You should do the necessary follow-ups, provide guidance and monitoring, and you should continue this process until it becomes permanent in his behavior. So friends, that was all for today. If you found the content helpful, do like, comment and share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to get the new videos. Thank you.